Hi, this is Erin Harrison coming to you from the Los Angeles Convention Center at IT Expo West 2010. I'm joined this afternoon by Nancy Ridge, Vice President of Telecom Brokers. Thank you, Nancy, for being here.
Thanks for inviting me, Erin.
So what you guys do is pretty unique compared to some of the other people who are at the show. Where do telecom brokers fit into the landscape of IT Expo?
Where we fit in, as our name states, is we are brokers, and that means that we represent over 35 different phone companies as their sales and distribution channel. But beyond just providing those products and services, whether it's an Ethernet circuit, an MPLS network, a SIP trunk, beyond that, we also provide consulting services, and we can act as a liaison between the end user, the vendor, and in many cases even the VAR.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We're very passionate about not just being the source, which we are because we are the sales channel for all these companies. We're very passionate about not just being that source for the actual product and service itself, but also being the mouthpiece that carries the message back and forth between what do customers really want today in their networks and services, and how do what the carriers are offering meet those needs, and where can we be the bridge to fill that gap.
And we were talking about that a little bit earlier, sort of, the changes that you've seen in terms of what people need help with now, the transition from wireline to wireless. Do you want to address that?
Sure. One of the trends that we're noticing is that a lot of our clients are moving into the mobility landscape much more than they were ever before. Certainly, the core network is still hugely important, but as the workforce starts to move out, the cloud computing is one of the hot terms out there at this show, and as the workforce becomes, more mobile, then the IT manager, the folks who are managing the networks, have to also manage that aspect of it, and it can be really challenging. So we're now also bringing software as a service to the table, as well as mobility management solutions to help customers with that piece as well. It's pretty exciting.
Very exciting. How does telecom brokers bring value to the end user versus working direct with carriers and vendor reps?
That's a great question, because that really gets to the core value that we bring to the table. It comes down to the fact that we're committed to the game. Our business is devoted to being that solution provider for the end user. We've been in business since 1998, so we've been around for a while. And everybody at Telecom Brokers is just passionate about providing solutions to our customers. And we also bring not only that experience, but also the choice, because we're constantly exposed to all the different products and services out there. We can come with an unbiased solution for the end user, which really brings value. We can help them really evaluate what's best for them, and then get down to the details of making the deal work, whether it's the contract flexibility, the cost, the term, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, it's a relationship with the customer, as opposed to having a quota or a particular product or solution that we have to sell.
Right, that's a nice benefit. What are some of the new products and services you're seeing in terms of trends become popular?
Well, one of the trends that we're starting to see is, even though we're still very much providing network solutions to customers, we're starting to see certainly the move to the Ethernet connectivity, versus the old landline connectivity as a point of access. But also the concept of, in the past, it would just be, give us an integrated or a dynamic circuit T1 with voice and data on it. Today, it's more along the lines of, help us with our network infrastructure, let's get that solid and in place, and then everything else becomes an application on that network. So again, it's voice, it could be internet access, social media, the mobility piece, whatever it might be. So we're seeing that as a huge trend, as well as the outsourcing. Everyone from small business to the large enterprise is looking at, do they want to outsource? Does it make sense to them? In other words, the whole cloud application.
Right.
So we can really help people look at that too, and see where they're at in the life cycle of their carrier contracts, their equipment life, their licenses, to find out, does it make sense for them to go to the cloud? So as you can see, I'm pretty excited about these trends because they just open up whole new conversations.
Um, Elaborate on what you're seeing in terms of adoption in cloud. Some people were, or a lot of people still are, somewhat resistant to, moving in that direction. What do you say to those people?
Well, I think what I say is let's take our time and really look at their particular concerns. The biggest concern that I see today relative to that is risk. People want to make sure that they're not at risk from a security standpoint when they're going to a solution like that. The other one, depending on the size of the company and also how long they've been in business, is how much cost or money do they have sunk into their infrastructure and their IT staff today. So we have to really look and see if they're at the end of their licenses, if their equipment's at the end of its life, then maybe it's a good time to move into a cloud scenario. But if all of that is top-notch and brand new, some customers, there's really no way that it pencils out or makes sense for them to do it. So again, that unbiased approach that we take, I think is really useful to customers because we can easily pivot.
Right.
So if it's not appropriate for them to look at a cloud solution, then we've got other options that we can talk about.
Excellent. And before we wrap up, what are you hoping to accomplish this week while you're at IT Expo?
Well, just of course seeing all the people that we know and the relationships that we already have, so it's exciting to hook up with everybody again. But we really do want to meet new people. That's why we're here. We want to make sure that the word is out, that Telecom Brokers is very much a part of this industry and growing with it. And then, of course, learning new things. That's another reason why I'm here. And there's one point that I almost forgot to make that I do have to say, is that there's no cost for any of our consulting services. The way we operate is all of the carriers pay us a small residual fee based on what we actually bring to them. Wow. So we're willing to invest in our customers, confident that we'll find something. If we don't, and they choose not to make a change right away, then that's okay. We've been able to build that relationship and we're not going anywhere.
Okay, that's great to hear. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Nancy Ridge, Vice President of Telecom Brokers. This is Erin Harrison coming to you from the LA Convention Center at IT Expo West 2010.